Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review, where today I will review the summer anime I was hyped for the most, Charlotte. I had really high expectations for this anime since it was a new Maeda production and the animation was provided by PA Works, who also blew me away with Angel Beats' animation. So let's see if Charlotte met my high expectations. The story of Charlotte takes place in the future, where some children develop superpowers during puberty. Our main character by the name of Yu Otosaka developed a skill where he can possess someone's body for 5 seconds. Yu is kind of an asshole and he only uses his ability to cheat in school. But one day he gets discovered by Nao Tomori, a girl who leads a group of superpowered students and makes sure that the superpowers don't get misused. Eventually, Yu understands that what he did was wrong and he joins the group to find others superpowered. But as he does that, he starts to discover more and more secrets about the superpowers, about Nao, and about his own past. Now before I start this review, I must warn you that this review will contain spoilers. But as usual, I will tell you in advance when the spoilers are coming up, and I will provide you with links to skip the spoiler parts if you want to. As a first positive point, I want to mention the animation in Charlotte. I was expecting some good animation from PA Works, and boy did they deliver. Charlotte's animation was awesome. It was detailed, precise, very good implementation of 3D, coloring, light and darkness and so on. From the first moment that I saw it, it instantly reminded me of the animation I saw in Angel Beats. One special thing I want to mention is the opening sequence. I found that was an excellent opening sequence which actually carried meaning, not like many opening sequences which just present the characters. Charlotte's opening sequence was different. It was put together very well and I enjoyed it every single time. Next up is the music, more specifically the intro and ending songs. The opening song Bravely You, I liked it from the first time I heard it. Combine that with the excellent opening sequence I just mentioned and that was a golden duo. But even better than the opening song was the ending song, Yake Ochinai Tsubasa. I am in love with this song. This is what I search in a good ending song. Simple, emotional and pure. The ending song gave and gives me chills when I listen to it. Anand Gardai's voice was amazing and she captures the emotion of the song perfectly. Yake Ochinai Tsubasa is one of the best ending songs I heard this year, so definitely expect a nomination for this song at my 2015 GV Anime Awards. But next to the opening and ending song, there were also the songs by Zend, the band from Charlotte. Amazing songs, just as Girls That Monster had in Angel Beats, and I expected nothing less from Maeda. And a special mentioning for Kimi no Moji, the song that's played at the very last scene. Just chills, especially when you read the lyrics of the song. Just chills, that's all that needs to be said about that song. Third positive point were the characters, and I want to talk more specifically about the main female character Nao. I thought that she was an amazing female character, because purely based on her looks, she was waifu material, but that's the catch with her. She's not your typical waifu, especially with her personality. Her kind of cocky and sometimes rude behavior contrasted her looks completely, and that's what made her character very layered and interesting. Going further on the characters, I also have to tell something about the brother-sister relationship between Yu and Ayumi. It might not have been the most original and layered brother-sister relationship, but it was always very sweet to watch them, especially since the way the anime develops. I'm not going to tell spoilers here, that's for further in the video. Then we have the last two characters, Takajo and Yusa. They were the comical duo of this anime, and in the first half of the anime I enjoyed the comedy that they delivered. Takajo's obsession for Yusa and then the way he was literally thrown around by Nao gave this anime a lighter touch. Now the comedy in the second half of the anime, that's something for the negative section. Point number 6 was the romance that we get in the final episodes. It was again not a surprise to anyone, I think, that Nao and Yu eventually became a couple. But the thing that made this romance very good was the development in the last 2 episodes. This is also linked with Nao's special personality. Without going into spoilers, the way this romance was concluded in the final episode was very heartwarming, and I found it to be the perfect end event for this anime. Then we have a shit ton of Angel Beats references in Charlotte. There were a lot of them, so I'm going to mention some of them. The first reference was also the most obvious one. In episode 7, we see Yu watching the television at some point, and guess what was playing on the TV? Yep, it was Angel Beats. Second reference was the whole setup of the group in Charlotte. There were a lot of similarities with the SSS from Angel Beats. Both are groups who try to save and protect people, and they're both led by a strong female character, Nao in Charlotte and Yuri in Angel Beats. Another reference I appreciated a lot was the blind singer Shane, who appeared in episode 8. She was a clear reference to Iwasawa. The looks were the same, the background, and overall I felt like Shane was a commemoration to Iwasawa, who was by the way still one of my favorite characters from Angel Beats. But the reference that completely blew me off my chair was the following one. First, have a look at Ayumi. Okay, now I'm going to show you a screenshot from episode 6 of Angel Beats. Look closely. Do you see the girl sitting next to Kanade? That's Ayumi. I just went insane when I saw this reference appearing on the internet. And it is true, I checked it myself as you can see here on the picture. This was an amazing and emotional reference. That Maeda did this proves again what a mastermind he is when it comes to drama. And that brings me seamlessly to the drama, and this is where the first spoilers will come. So click the link on the screen to skip this part if you haven't seen Charlotte yet. So the drama. Holy shit. I will specify this part on episodes 6, 7 and 8 because they were the most dramatical in my opinion. The ending of episode 6 where Ayumi dies, holy fuck. It had been a long time since I felt that intensity of emotions. It had been since Clannad. Her death just hit me like a freight train. I honestly felt sick after watching that episode. It was just way too emotional, which was to be expected from a Maeda anime. Maeda is a genius, but sometimes he can be an asshole genius like that time. Episode 7 then, where we see Yu's depression. This was the best episode of the anime, hands down. The way Yu's depression was portrayed was so good, so realistic and so recognizable. It was an amazingly good episode. And then in episode 8, we had the moment where Shane sings one of her songs called Falling, a cappella to heal Nao's brother. Goosebumps, just goosebumps during that scene, that's all I can say about it. Now Charlotte also had its problems, starting off with the comedy in the second half. The comedy that came from Takajo and Yusa was good, but in the second half they kind of disappear from the anime, and when they do make another appearance, the comedy that they did then was out of place and extremely mistimed. Next negative point was the pacing, and especially the pacing in the last episode. That episode could have been and should have been an entire second season on its own. Yu's adventure could have been so interesting to follow, and also his negative development would have been worked out a lot more in detail, so that we would have had a more intense bond with him. Another solution would have been that some of the first episodes were skipped because they are quite repetitive, but I still enjoyed them because I always found some new elements hidden in the background that made the overall story move forward. And the last two negative points will contain more spoilers, so also here click the link if you haven't seen Charlotte yet. I found that the way Ayumi returned into the anime was less to my liking. When she died, I soon realized that her role wasn't played yet, and I thought that the second half of the anime would cover Yu's quest to find a way to get her back. But that issue gets resolved pretty fast and in a very predictable way. So that could have been a really interesting storyline for the second half of the anime. And the last negative point were some of the plot holes in Charlotte, and I want to specify one that bothered me. At the very end of the anime, we see that Nao's brother has become sane again. So how did that happen? Because the event where Shane sings to him doesn't happen in this timeline anymore. After that event in episode 8, Yu time travels back into the past before that event. So he actually never meets Shane, and Shane never healed Nao's brother. To me, that was the biggest and the most annoying plot hole. So as a conclusion, Charlotte wasn't Maeda's best anime. It didn't reach the level of an Angel Beats or a Clannad, but it was still an anime that I looked forward to every single week. And that's why I'm going to rate Charlotte at 4 out of 5 stars. It would have been exponentially better if it had 24 episodes instead of the 13 it had now. Now for my recommendation, I mentioned it a couple of times in this video, but Charlotte really resembles Angel Beats, so I highly advise checking that one out. To me, a lot of the negative points that appeared in Charlotte weren't there in Angel Beats. Angel Beats was almost perfect, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 star rating. And with that, I conclude my review of Charlotte. As usual, you can find a full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put them in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put them in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. I will say arigatou gozaimasu and I will see you all in the next video.